We're here at FIX-EMEA. Of course, the topic on everyone's lips is all these exchange mergers that have been announced over the past 2 weeks. Robert Peston of the BBC at his keynote talked about whether anyone's considered London's position as a competitive financial centre in light of all these mergers. What do you think? How do you think London will fare?
Very well. There's many reasons why large global investment banks headquartered in London, way beyond the electronic issues of exchange mergers, and that's the infrastructure of London. It's the knowledge base that London has. It's the people. It's all the things that would take 100 years to put in place in another market. Not least things such as time zones, which will obviously never ever change. So there's very good reasons why mergers and consolidating on a global scale will be good for London, because London will certainly be a winner out of the mergers. And it doesn't really matter if you notice on a number of the mergers, we're talking about a duopoly of headquarters, New York and Frankfurt, London and Toronto. It doesn't really matter. It's really where the business comes, where the knowledge is, and that's going to be London, and it will always be London.
The other topic everyone's talking about is a European consolidated tape. Does Europe even need this?
In my opinion, we have to listen to the buy side, the investing community, and certainly since Mifid I was introduced, and we had the amount of new venues and the original objectives of creating competition. The flip side of having that competition in the market is that it's made it much more difficult for people to guarantee or to even get best execution, prove best execution. Investors need this. They need a benchmark to effectively prove their capabilities in the market. They need to prove to their clients that they've got the best execution and to form, and it fits into their policy. Over years, if we go back to pre-Big Bang days, pre-80s, there was never a problem with price discovery, with all the issues that we talk about now about pre- and post-trade transparency, because we had a single market, we had a central market, and that was the London Stock Exchange. So that the investors and the investing community, the market as a whole, operated pretty efficiently. The problem is, of course, is that with that is a monopoly. And once you break up the monopoly and you create the competition, you create fragmentation. The only way to get that back and to get back into a situation where the investor can get this benchmark and prove that they on the post and pre-trade transparency is a consolidated tape. In saying that, currently with Mifid II and the discussions in and around what Mifid II is, it's a political objective as much as it is a business one.
Of course, everyone knows the practical benefits of a consolidated tape. What are some of the political barriers that a European best bid and offer will have to jump through till we get there?
Well, I'm worried in that we've got into in recent times, since the beginning of this century, we've got into a situation where the markets and the market structures are really being driven by politicians and then regulation. And it's almost as if the market is bouncing around in the waves, unable to control or to be able to influence the direct developments of the market and the outcomes of that. I think at this particular event, you could ask everybody at this event, all 800 people at the event. I think they would all have a far better idea about what's required in the market to achieve the political objectives than what the politicians are. There is not enough cooperation going on between the market infrastructure, and the political objectives. And it almost seems as the politicians are hearing something, they're not quite understanding what it is they're doing, but they're pushing this back out to the market to see the market reaction. The market reaction quite often is to devolve into committee, to devolve into debate, without necessarily taking charge. And that's the problem. The consolidated tape, I'm a total supporter of it, but it has to be industry-led. It cannot be politically led.